Nikon has two retro-styled cameras, and Fujifilm, whether it's film or digital, it's all about retro. But Canon, the company with the largest market share, hasn't got a single retro camera, at least not until 2025. Canon's working on a full-frame retro-styled camera. Will it be a 5 series? Will it be aimed at the 6 series? Or what about even a retro-styled R9? I've got the answer to these questions in this video. But first, I have a simple and humble request. Please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps this channel grow, and it keeps you informed on the latest camera gear, such as a retro-styled Canon camera. Do you recall that story that Canon Rumors put out in August of 2024 about a retro-styled camera, perhaps a 5 series, a 6 series, or something else such as an R9 with that retro-styled look? Well, I'm happy to say that there's something more going on here, that this is actually something that Canon's working on. Let's cue up something that Canon Rumors said earlier this morning. We're pretty confident at this point that we will in fact see a retro-style camera, and it's going to be based off of the Canon AE1. It's going to happen sometime in Q4 or perhaps Q1 of 2026, and it's going to happen in time for the 50th anniversary of the AE1. We're going to call this new camera the Canon EOS RE-1. Why? Well, it simply just makes sense. Okay, so it's a definite maybe for Q4 of 2025 and perhaps could happen in Q1 of 2026. And if it does happen in Q1 of 2026, there is that little trade show going on in Japan called, I was going to say Photokina, but that's the one that we used to have in Germany. I miss Photokina. But no, it's CP+. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed. It's going to happen in time for CP+, and that's in time for the 50th anniversary of the AE1. But this new retro-styled camera, what are the specifications of it? Is it going to be modeled after a 5 series, a 6 series, or something else? And what's it going to cost us? The AE1 was designed for enthusiasts and hobbyists, though it was capable of producing high-quality images. This should give us a hint as what we can expect. Canon's going to do their best to aim this at the masses to get as many people interested in the camera as possible, to get people like me that are old. Yeah, 54, and as I rapidly approach 55 and then 60, I really start to look back on my past. The first, believe it or not, things that I'm going through my old crates here, old computers such as the Amiga 500, the Commodore 64C, C64C, the VIC-20, tapes, music, Boy in the Box by Corey, see, this is what happens when you get old as well. But I think that's primarily the market that Canon's going after here, but certainly photographers, where cameras, well, they had a certain look. You see, when we look back on retro-designed cameras like this, we're not just seeing a camera. We're remembering the sights, the sounds, and the smells surrounding that time. It literally freezes us in our tracks. So that means no 45 megapixels, probably not even 30 megapixels. And it's definitely not going to be built off the 5 series or the R3 series. The 3 series is what I'm trying to say. And looking at the competition, Nikon already has the ZF, currently priced at $1796. And then of course, there's the ZF-C, priced at $996, although that's a sale price. Could Canon do something similar to what Nikon's done and sell it for a price of between $1,500 and $2,000? They certainly could. Or they could follow Fujifilm's lead with the X-T5 for $1699. The X-M5 with a modern twist on the retro at $899. And when it comes to Fujifilm's lineup, there are an awful lot of retro-designed cameras. The one with the silver top and the all-black one. I have to say that the silver-topped one, try that again, I just came in from outside. The silver-topped ones, well, those are the ones that really hit home the most. But there is one other opportunity, because from what we're seeing in the marketplace right now, Anywhere from sub $1,000 up to $2,000, we can see various retro-styled cameras. You know what I would like to see? There is one hole in Canon's lineup, and that's where the R9 should be. A full-frame camera, but an entry level. Something to kind of replace the RP, but modernized. I would love to see Canon do that. To come out with a camera for around $1099 or $999 with a retro-styled look. That could do very well. I mean, after all, the RP has sold very, very well, been one of Canon's best-selling EOS R system cameras. But alas, not everyone agrees with me. The Canon EOS RE-1 will be based on Canon's current, non-stacked, 24 megapixel full-frame sensor, the kind that we see in the Canon EOS R6 Mark II and the Canon EOS R8. And for those of you tired of all these video features, video capabilities that we see in our cameras, and are looking on a camera that aims purely at photographers without all that video crap, well, lean in a little closer because you're going to want to hear this. You ready? This really won't be a camera that videographers like the ordinary filmmaker are going to be interested in. So the market is probably a lot smaller than something like the Canon EOS R6 Mark III. What do we know other than the potential name that Canon rumors suggest it should have, and that it's going to have a 24 megapixel full-frame sensor that's not stacked or backside illuminated? Well, we are told that it's also going to have IBIS. We don't know how many stops, but it is going to be a modern camera aimed at photographers, older ones like me that are nostalgic about the past. And it's not because we think the past is necessarily better. It's because when we hear music, for example, whether it's Pink Floyd, The Wall, it immediately takes us back to a different time. Transforms the way we're thinking at that moment, reminiscing the music, our feelings, our thoughts, our youth, when we were able to do all-nighters without worrying about things, where we had so much more energy, the people we were around, people that we'd long forgotten, people that perhaps aren't with us. You see, walking around with a camera that has that retro look is like a constant reminder of our past that as we get older and older, well, I'm sad to say, we keep forgetting. I look back. I would say the last 10 years, I have a pretty good recollection. But as I move back 20 years ago, I'm forgetting a whole lot more. If I go back to college, which is some 30 years ago, if it wasn't for my photos, I'm afraid that I would forget an awful lot. And prior to college, a lot of things that went on in my past, beyond 30 years, I have fragments. I have some moments. But if I hear Corey Hart, Boy in the Box, and it finally came back to me, I hear that song, all of a sudden it takes me back to Roche's Point, Ontario, walking down that service road by the lake, and I can just hear it. I had a tape recorder. Remember those decks where you could record and play at the same time? That's how I listened. And I had some headphones on, those 80s style headphones. I eventually got one of those Sony Walkmans, the silver, the small ones, which were really amazing. Yeah, it might not be aimed at me because I do like the video features, but if it sells really well, perhaps Canon could come out later on with an R5 with a retro-styled look. I mean, after all you have to do is take a look at Fujifilm's lineup, and almost every camera they put out there has that retro-styled look. In fact, Fujifilm has never gone away from the retro. In fact, they've embraced it, not only in their designs, but Fujifilm actually makes about 60% of the revenue from their film-related products, the film itself, and their Instax cameras that are modern versions of those old Instax cameras that, well, produce images through film. I wish I could afford to have various 80s style music throughout this video to take you back with me to where I was all those years ago. Kind of like an Adam Sandler movie. And I love that about Adam Sandler's movies, is they're filled with retro style music. Interesting, right? Well, things are getting interesting. I've seen an awful lot of incredible sales on right now. If you're not interested in waiting for the retro-styled camera or the R6 Mark III, the R6 Mark II is currently on sale for $19.99. But the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, well, it's dropped in price, $300 off at $39.99. That's a price point that I'm a lot happier with. I don't know if this is full-time, if this is a new price drop, but the Mark I is also on sale. It's $29.99. It's not $27.99, the lowest price that we saw at the end of Q4 last year, but still a very solid price. But I just wanted to let you know some of the sales on it. And if you are interested in picking up some of the cameras that I've talked about, I've got about 20 of the best sales in the description down below. Purchasing using my affiliate links could yield a 2 to 5% commission back for me and really help keeps the lights on. My key light here and the fill light here, and I'm noticing that my key light is actually pointing right here behind me instead of right at me. Oh well. Oh, one other thing you might want to pay attention to. Gerald Undone just put out an interesting rant about reviews of cameras, particularly the Panasonic S1R Mark II. I haven't finished watching it yet, but watch it. I feel for him, not exactly for what he's talking about. There are times where I feel like doing a rant, and honestly, right now, I'm burned out. I'm burnt out from all the coverage of the R5, Mark II last year, the R1. I still don't feel like I'm completely caught up. I'm looking to take a week or two off. There's just so much information coming out right now, and that retro style camera, I had to do a video on that. Hopefully I can take some time off on the weekend. I don't have any reviews planned. I am looking after my health and doing my best, but guys, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy doing this, and it's helping me get to my retirement goal of moving out to the West Coast. It's also helping me do things when I get home so I'm not totally bored. The only problem is I don't always have control over the news that's coming out. And because I chose to cover news and rumors, if something comes out, I have to put something out there. Maybe I can wait a day, sometimes 3 days, but I have to put content out. Anyhow, thank you for your concerns. Thank you for watching to the very end of the video. Thank you for those of you that actually, well, subscribe to my membership levels. I just changed them out, and so a special thanks to all of you. I think what I'm going to start doing at the end of the video, I'm going to start putting up the names of the people who have joined the members. I added one level. It's at around $9.99, and what that does, it takes you behind the scenes. And this is where you guys as members are going to completely drive how I do this. You want to see Studio A, where I'm working right now? Or what about Studio B? How much space do I take up? What kind of gear am I using? I want to make it a lot more personal, so if you want to get behind the scenes, you can. If you don't care, membership levels aren't of interest to you, that's fine too. I'm not going to take anything and put it behind a paywall that people really care about. I used to do behind the scenes in my videos, but not a lot of people really cared for it, so I thought, what better to put it into a special area where I can focus on doing behind the scenes that you guys really care about. And if I'm out shooting and I'm doing something with my phone, who cares if the quality isn't the best? It's to give you insight into what's going on. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great day, a great week, a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon.